All right. You remember last week, right? Like our analysis for last week.
Mm-hmm.
Our analysis from last week. All right. Let's start with the weekly time frame. All right. Our analysis from last week, price did half of what we said it would do. Not all of it, but half of what we said it would do. So I think what we were expecting from last week should continue this week. So let's start here. I found something that's very interesting. Look at this. Do you see this week? Right?
Yeah, that one
Then
from
you see
April.
this week, and then this week. This week might not be as big as these two, but this is also a good how can I say it, confirmation that price this week should go higher, right? So this is a monthly level that I just highlighted. I just had that on. So for this week, right, let's put last week's low, because if price for today and tomorrow, or even the next 3 days, if price does make a weak fill here and then push back up, that is exactly what we want, because it would be creating a lower wick, retesting the low. And if we get a rejection and price comes back to close above, let's say, this area, yeah, this area, we should see price complete the week fill from last week as we wanted. So let's highlight last week's week fill. Not last week, the week before. This week fill, that's the one that we wanted, right? So last week then gave us the confirmation that this week fill is very much possible. So those are very these three levels are the very important ones. Let's check on the daily to see if they all get along. So let's go on the daily. All right, on the daily time frame, right? If you look at this low, this one is it's a very good one. This is a very good low. And if you remember last week we were talking about price could break out around this area, right? Could break out around this area to come and try create a weak fill around this area. If you remember, right? We said either it should end around here, or it might even come to try complete this week fill before it reverses, and that's exactly what it did. And then it created a low. It created a low using this low, right? And then we created a low right here, which is very good, because remember we said if price breaks this low, this is a big drop.
Or,
What did you say?
oh no, I said it would be a short if it has closed below 1724.
Yes, and it would be a big drop. So I'm thinking if this drop is going to happen, it's going to be caused by news or some major thing that's going to happen. That's what they might be preparing it for, because drops like this, they don't just make them out of nowhere. So if they're going to do that, then we can expect this to hold for now until something major happens, some big news. I don't know, maybe NFP, probably. But if it holds, that's all what we want, right? So that this low, I would highlight this low, right? That's a very good one. That's perfect. And then we can adjust this low on the daily time frame, because it's in the middle of candles, right? Where did we get this low? Let's check on our weekly time frame. All right, that is the low that is the breakout that happened right here. Price broke out here and then came back to close above, right? So when we go on the daily, let's look for an area that showed the most interest. I would say right here, or even right here. I would say this whole area. We might get a proper area to put it on the 4-hour time frame. So let's hold this line here, because if you look at the area itself, it shows that it was an area of interest, because look at this. 1, 2, 3, let's say 4, let's say 5, 6 candles that were rejecting this area. So that's an area of interest. So we can expect price to keep coming back to that area. We just need a certain level to put it. And I think we might find it on the lower time frames. All right. And then the upper wick, let's just adjust it a little bit to put it on the top of the wick. So this high, this will be your weekly high, previous week. And then this will be your previous week low. So that's the range that you're working with, right? So price came all the way to the low, rejected, right? We can expect price to come all the way to the high to give us the week fill that we were expecting last week. And then from there, we might see price come all the way down, or we might even see price create a bigger range. So maybe price could come all the way, give us the week fill, right? Give us the week fill, right? Come back for the retest and then go higher to give us the bigger range. But if it doesn't do that, then it will come back and then complete this week fill, right? So that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it would be, this is our higher high, right? And then this is the area price needs to break if it's going to reach this area. So we can trade this move up to this area, but we can't be in any trades when price reaches this area. We have to wait and watch what price is going to do. It might want to come back to retest this area of interest for it to go higher, or it will come back down, break this area of interest and stay below. If it stays below, then price is going to complete the week fill. So that's for another time, but we can just keep that in mind for when price reaches this area and this area, and we play in between here. We do whatever it does in between here, right? So we have our weekly levels. We have adjusted them on the daily time frame. Let's go on the 4-hour time frame, right? On the 4-hour time frame, I like the low, I like the high, right? Now, for this area of interest, I would say around here, but if we look to our left, I would say maybe somewhere around here. And if you remember from last week, this is also the area that we were looking for. We were looking at from here. Yeah, this area, that's the area that we were looking at. So I would say the area still holds. So if this area still holds, we can expect, please highlight this area on your chart. Well, now this becomes a very important area because it still holds. And price even gave us a multi-session M or peak formation reverse W. Peak formation reversal, I don't know how other people call it. And then it gave us an impulse, right? Correction. If price breaks here, it might fake out to try and retest a low right here, right? And the moment it pulls back to close above this area, then we know price is all the chances of continue going up to our target right here, right? So first thing we have our reversal pattern right here, right? So you have your first confirmation already. You have an impulse, that second confirmation, right? at second confirmation. You have a range, some sort of a range that's being created right here. That is third confirmation, right? If price manages to do a swing low stop hunt, that would be your fourth confirmation. And then when it pulls back up, closes above our area of interest, you have all of this confirmation telling you that price will go up. So that's the moment you can use maybe 2 trades. You can put one stop, one take profit around this area, and then your last take profit around this area, right? And then your stop loss, depending on where you enter or the candle that you used to enter, that's where your stop loss would be. But if you see price coming all the way to this low, right, especially around this area, I would enter, because your stop loss would be very tight, would be around just below this low, and your take profit is around somewhere here. So it's a good risk. The reason why I'm saying if you see price reaching this low, it's a good area to enter, because first we have this pin bar, right? That was rejecting the low. Then the next, it's also a pin bar, but I don't like the way it closed. But it did come all the way to our initial low, right? And it put back all the way up to close above the previous pin bar. That's a good indication that price created a low, or it created some sort of a support around this area, because even if you look to your left, you have this rejection, right? Price went up and then it came down. So if people bought here, we could say that move down, this move down, they were taking out people's stop losses, right? And then they rejected price here, went up, right? So if some people caught the low right here, this was your first confirmation that price is going down. This was the swing low stop hunt, taking out people's stop losses, and price went up to give us the impulse, which tells us that if price gives us our first impulse, if it ranges or correction, all we need is a stop and low, take out people's stop losses who entered somewhere around this area, make people sell for price to push back up. Because what I like about this also, right, I'm not sure if you remember from last week, but we were looking at this high and this low as our range, right? And we were saying if price breaks out and then comes back to close in our range, we have every reason to believe that price will come back to our high to do the weak fill. And that's exactly what price did. It didn't complete the analysis, but it did exactly what we were expecting it to do. Price broke out and then it came back into the range. And when it broke, the best part is when it broke out, right? It created a peak formation right here. So that's our peak formation. Impulse, we need something around this area, stop and low, and then another impulse. So this would be around 50% retracement, which is a good area, because what I've noticed lately is price on gold, it has been doing only 50% retracement, and then it reverses. It hasn't been doing 68 or 78%. It's just been doing 50%, and that looks like 50%. So I would watch this area very closely, right? So you have every reason to believe that price will reach this area. I think that will be the trade of the week. Is it making sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Do you have any questions?
Actually for now, no. But the big candle at the beginning of the month, this green one, yeah, that one. Do you think it would also because it has like a clean traffic, right? So it could probably go down to close that clean traffic and then like how you explained before.
Yes, I'm thinking the same thing also. I'm thinking it might complete the clean traffic, right? Possibly weak to this area, because if it breaks this area, right, then it has to complete this weak fill. If it completes this weak fill, then it has higher chances of dropping. And I don't want to say I'm very sure that price is not ready to drop yet, but last week's rejection is sort of telling us that price is not yet ready to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have this peak formation right here. And I don't use divergence, but for some people who have it, I'm pretty sure there was divergence right here. I don't use it, but if I used it and if I was checking, I'm pretty sure it would be there, because price created the first leg, right? It created a low right here, gave us a rejection. Instead of price respecting this low, right, it gave us a small breakout. If price wanted to break out, it would have given us a big breakout, but it didn't. Mm-hmm. It gave us just a tiny breakout. So I think this was the initial reversal, the confirmation reversal, and for price to keep going higher to our target. So I would say for today, if price gives us a nice lower wick for the weekly candle, when price comes back to close above this area, even if it comes to this area and just rejects this area, that's all we want, because this is our area of interest for a very long time. If you look at this area, that's the area of interest. All of these candles, they are all coming back to this area. So that's our initial area of interest. So let's look at the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour time frame, I'm not going to adjust this area. We'll keep the 4 hour time frame. But like we said, the 4 hour candle clean traffic, that's this whole candle, right, up to this area. So we are saying price might try complete the whole week fill to maybe around here, right? But then this is like in the middle of the 4 hour candle. It's not in the middle, but it's almost complete. So I'm thinking if you were to enter this cell, right, I would take my profits right there. Because even if there is more clean traffic on the 4 hour time frame, right, there is an area of interest around that area, and most people will have their take profits around this area. Trust me, I would also have them around this area. But yes, there is a high chance that price will complete this week fill, or will want to complete this week fill for it to reach this area. I think that's when we use 2 take profits. 1 take profit around this area, because this is definitely that price will come around this area, and then the next take profit around this area, or even this area if you're willing to hold for that long. But I would put my bigger trade, if you put like different lot sizes, I would put it right here. Because on the 1 hour time frame also, right, we have this 1 hour candle, right? This is where the clean traffic for that 1 hour candle is ending, right? And for it to go lower to complete the rest, price would have to maybe reach this, do some sort of a consolidation, and then continue to the next one, because now price might want to create a new low around this area, since it's our area of interest. And then maybe it will wick down, leave us a wick, and then continue going higher. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understandable for me. Thank you.
All right, that's good. And then I think we have to do it on a separate video. I wanted to show you something about the Asian range. The Asian range, Where did price start today? All right, midnight right here. So this is our Monday Asian range right here, right? So the whole concept is, if this is our Monday Asian range, right? If price, it doesn't matter how long it takes, but if price breaks out of the range, right? Let's say it drops and then it comes back into the range, then this becomes the induction, right? So they made people sell, right? Make people believe that price will be selling for the week. And then it will sort of create another peak formation around here to give you the confirmation that price is reversing. If it comes back into our range, it might give up another range around this area for it to go higher. So it's the same as we're expecting price to break out of a range, give us the fake out. The moment price comes back into that range, it continues in that direction. So that's sort of what you're expecting. But this breakout, the induction, right? It's like your confirmation for the direction of the week. So since the breakout is already happening at the bottom, that sort of tells us that the rest of the week has higher chances of going higher. But if this breakout had happened, let's say this breakout had happened above the range, right? And then it sort of went a little bit higher, then that would be telling us that price has higher chances of dropping the rest of the week. All right. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're just like, I'll keep on adding more information to it, but that's the basis of it. All right. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
I think that's it for today. Maybe you can put need a high right here, a nice high right here, and then you need a nice low right here. All right. So I wouldn't enter this breakout just yet, since it's already out of, this is already the London move. So what I would say is, I would watch what price does here, look for an area of interest around, let's remove this, around here, an area of interest around this area, or even around this area. And then when New York opens, if price reaches this during London, and if it doesn't break, or if before New York opens, if price is still around this area, I wouldn't be surprised if price wicks above to retest the high for price to then drop. Because remember, when a new session opens, price will read, if price, let's say a new session opens, right? If price was around, let's say the high, right? And let's say it had been going up and then it's ranging at the high, right? Price will want to retest the low for it to go higher, right? Every time when a new session opens, if it was at the bottom, say price dropped and then it's ranging at the bottom, price will want to retest the high and then drop. Oh, my bad. Price will want to retest the low here for it to go higher. And here price will want to retest the high for it to go lower. So if price is around the low, anywhere around this area, when New York opens, price might want to retest the high for it to drop. So you don't have to be in a rush to enter this and say like you have missed the trade. Yeah, you've missed the trade now, but we have a chance of entering again around this area when price retests this area, because now this becomes our order block. Price will want to retest this area for it to go lower. But if price is around this area, when New York opens, then price will want to wick down for it to go higher. Is it making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right.
So,
What did you say?
I know I just wanted to say maybe it's a short day today, but let's see what the market does later.
Yes, yes. Yeah. But I think that's all for today. There isn't much to it. Price did what we wanted to do last week, and I think this week it should complete everything from what we wanted from last week. So we have some good trades coming up.
Yeah, I hope I don't miss them, but yeah.
I think you can add an alert for this level, right? And also
For that important level.
yeah, and then also